Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to make a new block today. This is called the Constellation Block, and this one's pretty simple um, once you actually get it figured out. So this calls for 4 colors. We're going to use a cream colored background, and then we're going to make half square triangles for everything. I've got the camera set up so that we can see the sewing. And I've already marked the half square triangles on the back of all my blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch down each side of that block. And let's go over the sewing machine and we'll do our half square triangles. Down the side of that line that I drew. And we're going to chain these. I may fast forward this off for you just so you don't have to watch it in real time. Okay, and now that we've got all of our half square triangles cut, the next thing I'm going to do are half square triangles. I'm going to iron them open and I'm going to iron them to whichever side I feel like ironing them to. And now that everything has been ironed, I'm going to sort them according to what they are. So all the green and whites, all the green and pinks, the pink and white, green and pink, green and pink, and then the yellow. This looks all confusing, I know. Okay, so the way this block goes is we are going to have the green and pinks in the center. So the way this block goes is we're going to have the green and the pink in the center. And let's see. Green. Basically, it's a pinwheel. I never get these right. So there's the center of our block. And then we're going to take a pink and a green, or a white and a pink, excuse me, and a white and a green. So that's one row. Then we're going to have yellow, 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 and yellow. Two. Okay, so let me give you a good picture of that. So that's the layout for this block. And then we are going to go back over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew it together in rows. So there's the layout, and I'm going to go down the rows. So I'm going to sew these two pieces together, then these two, then these two, then these two. Then I'll come back in and add this row in. So let's put our pieces together here. And go over to the sewing machine. And I'm not going to break thread between my pieces. I'm just going to sew them with 1/4 inch seam allowance. One. I'm trying to make sure I keep my points. It's kind of the point of this star block. Okay. And I'm just going to lay this back out here so you can see that everything is still where it's supposed to be. Okay. And then we're going to take the next piece and put it on top and sew it on. Excuse me. Open it up. Still got my pretty pinwheel in the center. And then let's do this last row. And the reason I like to do it this way is because then there's less chances for me to turn things around the wrong way, which I am good at. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure that all of my seams on the bottom row are pressed to the right. You could press them all to the left. I'm just trying to make sure that all my seams will nest when I get ready to sew the next section. And then the seams on the second row will go to the left. And then these will go to the right. And I'm just finger pressing them down. I can do that with these because we're not sewing bias edges anymore. I wanted to use the iron on those half square triangles because those are biased and I didn't want them to stretch. But you don't have that problem when you're on grain. All right. So now that we've got our seams so that they nest, I'm going to go in here. Let's see if I can get this in camera for you. I'm going to match up my end, and then I'm going to match my first nested seam. And then I'm going to sew to that first nested seam. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that I've got that seam nested, 1/4 inch for that first seam. Stop, make sure my next seam is nested. This helps keep your points where you want them. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the other two on the far side. Once I get to that seam, I'm going to stop, put the needle down. I'm going to go on to the next seam. Stop, needle down, make sure my next seam is nested. Then I'm going to take the 2 halves that I've now sewn,